your family in Malaysia. So you said your granddad was a Anglican priest. You found out
My
later.
father's father, yeah.
Father's father. Was there much talk about Christianity and religion and Jesus in your home as you were growing up, or is it something that was just on the weekend when you went to church? What was it like in the household, I suppose?
Not a lot in the household.
Okay.
All right. We lived as what we know then to be a Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we go to church on Sundays and Sunday school and things like that. And my father was a GP. Yeah. And he worked a couple of hours Sunday mornings because people do come. So after church, and between the lunch, he stops after lunch. And we sort of like grew up in such an environment. So it's not like, we would be having Bible study at night in the home and so on. It was not like that. It was just the way of life rather than a religion.
Mm.
And I'm interested in the kind of move to Sydney. Can you tell us about that? So were you prepared for it, or you were just like going in completely blind and just going to see what happened?
Quite blind, I have an aunt here.
Okay.
In Sydney. So that helped me get going the first year. Yeah, and after that I lived out and so on. Mm-hmm. And I had many, many positive experiences in Sydney. All right. So in uni, there were a couple of years I stayed out at a place called New College in Kensington.
Mm.
Okay.
And there's this guy there, I forget his name, but a very nice Aussie friend, and he introduced me to Vegemite and honey on a buttered toast. I have loved it ever since. Yes.
That's
so
cool.
So there's a lot of new learnings. You come from an environment.
Yeah.
And then you see the rest of the world, and you learn. You can be positive or negative. You can look at all the good things, or you can focus on the negative things. But I was very fortunate to be able to experience a lot of positive things. Right. So we grew up in a very different culture and a different environment, and there are a couple of stories I always like to share. And one of them is that after uni on Fridays, I would take the bus to Central, have a change, and then go up to visit my aunt in Ryde, and then do the return trip at night, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, Invariably, I stop at Town Hall because they have a really good Macca's place there. Right. And one day I was there, and I got my Big Mac and a Coke and my chips, right, and hot chips.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was walking towards a place to sit, and then I spilled my drink, right? And I think must be within 30 seconds or however long it takes to pour another Coke, a very young boy who works at Macca's showed up with a new cup of Coke.
Yep.
All right, and put it on my tray, and I was like, never had this happen in my life. Like,
Right.
Someone would just come and be nice to you and clean up and so on. And I was so shocked, and I never had this, right? And you would, in most places, go and buy another Coke if you want.
Yeah.
So, and I kept this in my head all the time. I regretted never really thanking him because I was like surprised and shocked.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was, to me, a very good experience during my school days, if like uni days. And then subsequently living here, all right, you can cut me off if I...
No, keep going. This is it's interesting.
A couple of more positive things happened in my life, all right. My daughter Grace, you might know I'm introduced usually as Grace's dad, right? Or Michelle's dad.
Yep.
Then they discover my name eventually. And so Grace, was going for her karate black belt grading in Melbourne, and I was also training then. So with another friend who was also doing the grading, so we drove down to Melbourne for the grading, and then after that stayed a weekend and so on. And for her to get a black belt, you have to have 10 fights, and Grace is not too big, but so she had to last 10 fights with strong people, and they really push you. It's not a walk in the park. And she was quite hurt.
Yeah.
All right. After the 10 fights and blistered and everything, and she was limping and so on. So we drove back, and on the way back we stopped at a travel stop, and went to get some more McDonald's. And Grace went to the counter, picked up her food, and was limping back to where I was sitting with this other friend. And then a couple of tables away, I noticed 2 guys. They looked like very tough bikies. Stopped her and said, "Are you okay?" And I was so touched that strangers, all right, if you stereotype, they wouldn't look like Christians, all right, and would stop and showed concern. And this, again, was something I remembered because it's never happened in all my life. So I was very touched. And I wish I had walked over to thank them, but I was, again, shocked.
Yeah.
And then the third incident was one night after work. I took my wife out, and I think we had dinner or something. So we were driving back, and then I bummed out my phone, the 000 number. I think it's 111 or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's programmed to the phone those days.
Oh, okay. You did a butt dial. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay.
And bummed out. And then I realized this after I got back, and I quickly took the phone, and I read out the number and said, "Sorry, I made a mistake, and please, don't send anybody," and so on. So I sat down. It was about 11ish at night, and then there was a knock on the door. So my wife had gone to bed, and I was sitting there just watching the news or something, and 2 very big policemen came into the house, and I said, "Oh, it must be." The missed dial, and I said, I already called and said I'm sorry, and and so on and so forth. And they looked at me and they said, "Are you alone?" I said, "No, my wife is asleep." And you know what they said? "Can we see your wife?"
Oh.
You know what they mean?
No? Tell us.
They wanted to be sure that my wife was okay.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
And I said to myself, they took the trouble. They could have said, "Yeah, we checked, tick the box," and they left. But I was again, very taken back by this experience. So I carried these 3 experiences with me, and I share it when I can.
So can I ask, why do those experiences impact you so much? Is it because you hadn't experienced that in growing up or in when you were younger?
Well, first of all, these experiences are few and hard to come by.
Okay.
All right, this is the first thing. And the second thing is that it's often said that, things are different when you're outside your own culture. All right. But, on these occasions, they weren't. Right? They were just decent reactions. All right? Decent actions. All right? People caring. All right? People doing things sometimes they don't have to do. The young man can avoid this, just mop up and move away.
So it's like a concern for people that you don't even, they didn't even know you or
they don't even know you. They don't even have to
Mm.
step out of the comfort zone to check on us.
Yes.
Yeah. And they didn't check on me at the travel stop. They checked on my daughter.
Yep.
You know, if someone were to check on your kids, how would you feel, right?
Yeah. You appreciate it because it's like they're showing concern that
Yes.
you think that you only have concern for your kids
Yes.
sometimes.
And total strangers.
Mm.
And people who don't look like they would show concern. Sorry, guys, wish I could say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. And you're kind of talking there about, you're talking about moving or changing where you lived. Can I ask you, what was the biggest shock from moving from Malaysia to Sydney? What is the thing that you found most surprising?
I didn't feel really any shock
Okay.
in the move, all right?
That's
and
good.
It was strange now that you asked the question. I didn't think about it too much. It was to me like a new adventure.
Okay.
All right. But subsequently, I did think that it must have been much harder for my parents because we are 3 brothers, all right, and they made the decision to let us loose in the rest of the world, all right. And I think in this case, when you're out there and you see things, it's very difficult to go back. So this means that we would leave our parents behind, and I'm sure that they would sense this.
Mm.
And so I think times like this, when they age and they are away from us and we are away from them, would be the tougher times.